The way people talk about slavery these days, you'd think it was a uniquely American thing that we invented in 1619. But slavery throughout history has been the rule, not the exception. The Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, Romans, the Arabs, British, the early Americans.
So I want us to watch this video by the popular American comedian and talk show host, Maher. And while we are watching, please kindly leave your thoughts and opinion in the comment section, because we would like to hear what you think or what is your take on what Maher was talking about in this video. So let's watch.
He criticized a phenomenon known as presentism, which means judging everyone in the past by the standards of the present. It's the belief that people who lived 100 or 500 or 1,000 years ago really should have known better. Which is so stupid. It's like getting mad at yourself for not knowing what you know now when you were 10. Stupid me, spending all that time raising sea monkeys and playing with slot cards and jerking off to a Playboy in the barn. Who doesn't have moments from your past that make you cringe? Who hasn't said, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I wore that. I can't believe I thought that. I can't believe I did that. It's just the collective version of that. Did Columbus commit atrocities? Of course. But people back then were generally atrocious. Everybody who could afford one had a slave, including people of color.
Honestly, I have watched a lot of his show. In fact, I am so drawn to comedians and the talk show hosts because it's something I like to do. So I see them as my mentor. So I learn a lot of things from them. I spend like hours on hours just watching their shows. I watch like Maher, Trevor Noah, and Ben Shapiro, and Oprah Winfrey, and so on and so forth. Even Steve Harvey and Helen DeGeneres. And I understand he is a comedian and he is making fun, or he is making a joke out of it. But I also believe that when he's doing this, when he's making everything like a joke, people get the wrong signal. And I cannot believe that he will compare people who did slavery to a child who is still developing. It's not like they didn't know better. If someone is still developing, if someone is still becoming the person they will be, it's quite different from a full grown-up person making so much money out of slavery. This is totally not comparable. You cannot be comparing, or you shouldn't be comparing, slave trade with people growing, people having dreams, children growing up and having dreams. All of us have had moments when we realize that what we've said or done wasn't appropriate. We all had that. But we cannot compare those moments with what people did during slavery. And saying that those people who did slavery 100, 200, 300 years ago didn't know better is a really, really naive way or stupid way of putting it. I will give you an example. Let's take, for example, Amazon, the Jeff Bezos enterprise, with all their rules and restrictions, right? Let's say, for example, 200 years from now, the workers in Amazon finally got the union they have always wanted. Will people in the future think that Jeff Bezos didn't know better to let the people have unions? Because he is always stopping them when they want to have a union. Or for example, China, who is constantly building a surveillance state. Let's say, for example, 200 years from now, AI finally took control over humans. Will people in the future be thinking that, oh, we shouldn't blame people now who are building this surveillance system because they didn't know better? I don't think so. Because people right now are warning China about the surveillance state they are building. Likewise, there are people in US telling Jeff Bezos that it is a good thing to let the workers have a union. We cannot just think that those people who engage in slave trade, those people who bought and sold people, didn't know what they were doing was wrong. If they did not know, or if they were unaware of what they were doing, why did they not sold their close family members? Majority of them. Why did they not? Why the whites, the British, the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, who were like those champions of slave trade, why did they not sold and bought people from their homeland? Why did they have to travel across the Atlantic Ocean to Africa to buy and sell slaves? Why? Yes, they didn't know. Let's assume. Let's take Bima's analogy. They did not know what they were doing, or they didn't have enough knowledge on what they were doing. So why did they not buy and sell people in their home countries? Why travel to other places like Africa where they bought slaves and sold slaves? I think that people should be held accountable for what they did. And this whole thing about Christopher Columbus and what he did and what he did not do, it's not really gonna change anything in my opinion, because it's not like he is ever gonna stand trial for what he did. He is dead and gone. So no matter how we keep on justifying or not justifying his actions and decisions, it's not gonna change anything. So to you guys out there, what do you think about B. Maher's remarks on slavery and slave trade? Do you think that people shouldn't blame those people who were so involved in slave trade, or for the sake that they didn't know better? Do you think that people who did terrible things in the past should be given a green pass because they didn't know better? And if that were to be the case, wouldn't us be giving Hitler a green pass for him not being aware or not knowing better? I'm just saying, I'm not saying we should do, because everyone universally have accepted that Hitler was a terrible dude. I'm just saying that if we are going under this notion that people of the past who did terrible things did not know better, shouldn't we also be thinking about people like him, Adolf Hitler, and people like Mussolini of Italy, and Stanley of Russia, and Mao Zedong of China? Should they all get a green pass for what they did? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Thank you very much for watching this video, and like always, see you in the next one.